Okay. Okay, first of all, I would like to say all praises be to the Most High, Ahaya on the Sabbath, and Yeshua, his son. We thank him for another opportunity to bring forth key information in the earth today. Yesterday, elder lawyer, had a class on the holidays itself, as far as the Christmas and the origin of Christmas, and that had been archived for all of you who didn't know that we had a class yesterday. So you can always go back and view it right after this. It'll give you a full detailed understanding of Christmas. And I came in for, just for a temporary moment, just to edify a few things on Christmas also. So for those who missed the class yesterday, which was fairly early, probably a lot of you were at work at that time, or your children were in school, or whatever the case is, and you were out and about. But we thought we would have that a day beforehand, just so you can have that archived. Today, it's not going to be a long class, but we wanted to be able to bring you some understanding in lieu of everything happening in the earth. Also, to clarify a few things that might be out there that you may see online, or whatever the case may be. All right? Now, the first thing is, of course, we've been getting a lot of requests, or I would say requests for us to give our opinion or give the understanding according to scriptures of what's going on with the so-called Colorado shooting and all those things there. I'll be glad to give you some understanding, or bring some understanding in light of that, of what's going on. It's probably everything you know already. All right. Let me see. All right. Dale, you can see me, right? Everything is good. For those who can't see me, you would need to refresh your computers, but this is video archived. So I want to make sure that everyone out there can see us loud and clear, and can hear us loud and clear. All right. So it will be video archived. All right. Now, in lieu of what's going on with the so-called, what's that, Aurora shooting, or
Sandy Hook?
No, Sandy Hook shooting. You notice that it's culminating into gun control and all that, but that's just on the low level. I'm going to see if I can bring this all around before I go into the scriptures on a few things here. These are just fragments, what you're seeing, and to divert you from really what's going on in the earth. When I say this, Satan is working on every level through the satanic world government. Mm-hmm. So you can focus on one facet of it if you would like, but focusing on that one facet still will not give you any level of resolve of what's really going on. All right. Now, the scriptures bring that foundation. So I'm going to go into that. All right. And I'm also, before we've done this, I'm also going to address an article that was circulated about a young 16-year-old boy. I'm going to go into that information also. About his mother had an article around 5 or 6 months ago about the fleeing, and thank the Most High, the young man actually called the radio show this coming last Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to do a recap on that too for those who didn't hear the radio show and might get these particular circulations out there. First and foremost, going back to the shooting and what's going on there. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you straight out, it's all theater, number one. Number two, these are all staged. Okay? Number three, at the end of this, which means when the government bring forth their legislation to change things, you'll understand what it was really about. Don't go for the original story. Look at the laws being implemented based on the story. That's the true agenda. They can't tell you straight out. The government cannot tell you straight out that we're looking to disarm, then kill and round you up. It doesn't work that way. All right? Now, how will I begin this? Because we have many scriptures on this. The Bible tells us, for those who understand the scriptures, the Bible tells you that the children of Israel's God is not like the other gods of the nations. Okay? He chose the children of Israel special. Okay? Opposed to the other nations. The other nations worship deities, idols, and demons. Okay? Now, they did this outwardly way back when, in the beginning, as far as when our people were in the homeland Israel. There was no secrets concerning this. The Egyptians was following Nephilim and fallen gods. The Persians were following Nephilim and fallen gods. All the way down to the Edomites, who linked in with the Canaanites to worship the Canaanite god, which is today the tetragrammaton god Yahweh. All right? Now, the Israelites' God, Ahia, was always different or separate from the other gods. Now, the issue came into play in which, if we can bring it up today, in which they had to make a construct of psychology so that the children of Israel would not know that these nations were worshiping demons. So the whole construct of government with Satan at the pinnacle is aimed towards teaching a lie to the earth that's really aimed towards keeping our people from seeing the truth, that they're worshiping Satan. Now, they come in many facets of worshiping Satan. Let me run a few things down to you, and by the time this is over, you're going to totally understand what we're bringing. Psychology is sorcery, it's Satanism. The made-up history to convolute or to destroy the true origin of history is part of Satanism. Okay? Lying openly to the people while practicing satanic rituals is what's being done in the earth. The Bohemian Grove, which they sacrifice to different gods. Today we have holidays that go back to ancient satanic holy days of Satan, which the Gentiles did outwardly, but yet our people were not a part of it. So in order to get us to participate, they constructed a psychology type system that would make us believe that these were just organic individual decisions being made within the earth. They made us believe that just nothing is relevant, nothing is relative, everything is just coincidence. And I'm going to show you how we bring this around here. They set up a system that would lie to God's people who are in captivity, but still have you embrace the powers or the people who've enslaved you. Total psychology. Separated us from our God and then tricked us into following their God. Okay? Now I'm going to bring this all in the scriptures, but I'm just breaking this down piece by piece so you brothers and sisters can understand how this is done and where we are today in respect to answering the question about that shooting, because it's on a higher level than that shooting that just happened, in which they are about to disarm not only just Americans, but people all over the earth to bring forth a one world government under Satan. Now, their God, Satan, require a few things as far as the Gentiles are concerned. Their God requires a sacrifice. Okay? Christ is our sacrifice. But their God, Satan, in order to keep them in power, in order for them to stay in power, they are required to bring forth a certain number of sacrifices to stay in power or to appease the gods. Okay? Now, they've always done this. The difference in how they're doing it now opposed to back then is that now our people are more involved in it. That's number one. And number two, when it comes to this sacrificing to the gods, they had to set up a system, a psychology news program system, I would say, so that when they do these sacrifices, they can just pass it off as accidents or role killers or serial killer or heart attack or whatever they're going to tell you in the news happened to you or happened to the children that are missing. They'll use the news so that society won't know that you are a prey to be picked out as sacrifices under Satan's system. It's not just one facet of government that's operating like this. People talk about the CIA, FBI, the Homeland Security. All these are just arms or tentacles of the satanic government that really have one agenda, and that is to destroy God's people. Now, I'm going to show you what we're talking about. We're going to go back to the past and bring it up to the present here. All right? Now, let's go to the book of Leviticus, which speaks of we should not pass our children under the fire. Now, I'm saying this, the reason I'm going into this also, and I like to always tie in some of the radio shows we had. We had a Jewish woman, her name passed me, but excuse me, she's a professor at one of the colleges teaching black history, which I don't understand. She said that in the Torah that Jewish people read, they have a different interpretation. That their interpretation of what we call murder, which is abortion, they say that it falls under a law that if a woman or man accidentally abort, or someone push someone down and they accidentally abort, they use that law to say abortion is good. Now, I'm giving you these examples because they really have an overall agenda under Satan, but they pass it all through their psychology and have you accept it when what they really believe is that it's good for you to kill your own children. Under Satan, this is what they believe. It have nothing to do with the Torah. The Torah don't translate it that way, but they're using the ignorance of our people to pass this over. And this is a person who's teaching African American history. How does she get this job? Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, their tentacles are in every facet of society. You cannot escape their eyes. They have witches and warlocks and pagans and Satanists in high places in every part of government. And that is seeped all the way down to the lowest community within the United States and worldwide. This is how they operate. Read that.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verse 1.
Go ahead.
And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, Whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Moloch, he shall surely be put to death.
He shall surely be put to death. So if you do what? Read it again.
He that giveth any of his seed unto Moloch, he shall surely be put to death.
So under our law, when we had a land, I'm talking about our people, the children of Israel, before we were distorted into thinking that we were black or African American, there was an understanding that the Gentiles would sacrifice their children unto Moloch. Now let me bring this up to today. And I'm just going to give you some examples, the difference between our God and our culture and the Gentiles' culture. This is what you don't know, is that in these high parties, and they usually do these high parties during Saturnalia time, during this time we're talking about right now, during the Christmas season, all your politicians and all the hierarchy get together and deal in these satanic, what you would call sexual, sodomite type rituals. And through those rituals, they make promises to their god Satan that once a child comes from this, they will give it to him as a sacrifice, to use whichever way he will. Okay? When you go into this, you understand that it's not just killing children under Moloch from birth. It goes deeper than that. Some of them will have their children, like you have people that are generals and working in Congress, they have their children initiated into these secret societies as children to be utilized by government. Now, how do we bring this around? You notice there's a lot of road killings by these so-called people who are supposed to be brain controlled or whatever they want to put that out to be, or whatever the case is. Really, they're using MK Ultra and all that and putting that out there so you can focus on that, even though it's true. But ignore the main factor, that these children were given over to these programs from their parents before they were born, under a secret initiation that was from the past of sacrificing their children to Moloch. So when you see these shootings in Colorado and these shootings in different parts of the country, and the guy looked bugged out of his mind and he's a patsy that's being utilized so that they can bring forth their satanic agenda, the mother and father agrees with it, because they are looking at the bigger picture. Their bigger picture is that their child is worth the sacrifice if it means laws are instituted that will destroy us. For one child they sacrifice, they look to kill 1,000 or more of us, 10,000 or more of us. Brzezinski, the guy from Russia, the guy that really is Barack Obama's mentor, said a couple of years ago, at one point, it was easier to control 1 million people. But today, it's easier to kill 1 million people. What people you think they're talking about? The people they were able to control. Who were those people? The slaves. So they come together, brothers and sisters, in one consent to give their children over to these programs that can be used as propaganda for the news programs. And the news story will go to this road killer, these actors, and all these people that are standing behind in suits and caps and are supposed to be authority, and they're all Satanists and pagan demon worshippers. It's theater. They'll do it before you and rock the whole country and tell you, brothers and sisters out there, that, well, it was just a rogue guy that's looking to kill children. We must keep all of our children safe. Your children are in school. This is how they do it. Now the stage is set for Barack Obama to come out with his annual address, the State of the Union. Watch it. He's going to come out with the State of the Union, and his full focus will be to make sure that what happened in Colorado will never happen again. It's time it's time to do an executive order to disarm the country so that people don't do these heinous crimes against children. That's going to be the next thing. But then what happens? Now that all your guns are gone, which is your sword, and Christ says to sell your cloak and get a sword. Now there's less pushback when they let loose the armies on you, when they let loose the foreign troops on you. That is what's coming next. That's what it was all about anyway. But you don't know this because in your programming and our programming, we're taught that every individual make individual decisions, and this have nothing to do with an overall satanic agenda. So you'll never view this the way you need to view it. You'll never see it the way you need to see it. That these people do all these different sexual acts under Satan, have children, and sacrifice their children to the government so that the government can use them against us. That's really what's going on. They're worshiping Moloch, and these are all Moloch rituals. Now there's more. Let me get 1 Corinthians 10 and 20. Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 20. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils.
Read it again.
But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils.
Hold up. Before I go further, someone say that the video is freezing real bad. Okay. Is that the case for everyone out there, that the video is doing a lot of freezing here? Dell? Let's see here. Okay, good. All right, one moment. I'm going to try something here because I don't want to stop this programming. It's a lot of good information is coming out. One moment. Let me try something here. Okay. One moment. Okay, before I go further, is the video better or is there no video at all at this time? One moment. Okay, can you see me now though? Is this fine?